In the most popular program, and we typically have a little bit of a wait for it, but it's our Canine Clarity in-home board and train, where the dogs stay here at our property. We work with them. They're immersed into this environment. The environment is one of structure. The environment is one of discipline, of a set of rules. And when a dog comes in here, we leverage the "you're not in Kansas anymore" concept. So it allows me to get a fresh, clean slate on the dog's mind. We help the dog kind of take it from the bottom, and through structure and through guidance and training and repetition, what we're doing is we're building in these really great behaviors, and we're shaping her to be a well-mannered dog. So we're focusing on things like crate training. We're focused on things like reward-based training. We have the time to do that so that we can teach the dog things like pressure and release so that it understands how to communicate. Before we ever layer in a verbal or a visual, we have to teach the language in the first language that dogs are familiar with, which is pressure. We apply a little pressure, like so. Eric, go ahead and you demonstrate a little pressure. You hold the leash up, that's pressure. When she complies, we just release it a little bit, and she gets her reward. So we have to communicate to her that I'm not trying to hurt you, or I'm not trying to do anything other than communicate with you. And then when I work with you guys, you come to the lessons, you come afterwards, or you follow up with me. We're going to talk about things like the 14 points of leadership, the structure, why we do it. I think if you understand the whys, the hows are so much easier, guys. So that's important. Nutrition, health issues. These little things are going to make you a more well-rounded pet owner. And I think that that's important, because that's what your dog wants. It wants a good leader, one that's going to take care of it, and that one that it wants to follow. A big misconception people have with dog training is they think that dog training is one of those things that is just tricks. And tricks, when I refer to trick training or trick commands, those are the sit, down, place, whoa, come commands. We teach those, but that's not the most important thing. That's easy to shape with positive motivation and food and things like that. Through repetition, we accomplish those things, and your dog will learn those. But what we're really striving to gain is maturity, discipline, and a calm mindset. That's where it starts at. And then once the dog achieves that, then we layer in the come, sit, down, whoa, place. And the dog understands. It's looking for, when it hears that command, it's checking for my guidance and my direction. Deference is what I'm asking of the dog. So your dog will learn those commands, but I want to encourage you to think outside of that basic trick commands, because if your dog can do it inside your house, that's awesome. But if the dog can't do it outside at the park, then the dog isn't trained. And that's because the environment's changed. And so now it has new associations. So we're going to help you get there. When you get that, certain things start slowly going away, like potty training issues, reactivity issues, overstimulation issues, and then what you get is a calm, healthy dog. When your dog stays with me, we have a couple people that help out here, that work here, that work with me. I do all the major handling, and then Eric, my assistant, does a lot of the follow-up stuff. Eric is a gentleman that does have a limited disability, and so as Eric ends up working with the dogs, how are they by week 2 and week 3 when you're walking them?
I'd say they are very well-mannered. They don't pull on the leash. They are very compliant, I would say.
You mentioned it once. You said this is kind of like every time we walk, we're re-instructing the dog. So that is one of the things that we do, is we work together. The dog's never unattended here. We always have somebody here with the dog. But more importantly, when we take the dog out and we work with the dog, we work with different handlers. different styles of handling, different abilities to handle. And your dog becomes compliant in both of those along a bunch of different trigger points. And we call those teachable moments. So every time I go past that fence-fighting dog, pit bull, Martin, snarling, and your dog wants to react to it, we coach that dog through it. If it's big loud noises like on traffic off the main road here and the buses are going by, we always make it an exercise to put the dog in commands and train the dog in different environments. And that's what we really find the benefit of using this location for training. I think it allows us to still create that pet-friendly family dog training environment. When your dog stays with us here at Tax Canine, understand that I treat your dog as if it was my own. I give the dog the love it deserves and it needs, but more importantly, I give the dog the same structure and the same expectations I hold of my dogs. I hold your dog to those standards. I help them get to those standards, and once the dog gets there, man, your dog comes back with a different peace of mind. He's happy, he's healthy, and you're happy and healthy. So that's what our goal is a happy, healthy dog. I hope that people understand that when they get a dog trainer, and it doesn't matter who it is, be it me or someone else, that there still has to be a level of effort put in on the owner's part. It's not a Ron Popeil appliance where you set it and forget it. A dog is a living creature, and it constantly needs motivation, guidance, it needs direction, it needs leadership. It's not an inanimate object that breaks and then you send somebody to fix it. It's something that you have to constantly work with. We just kind of passively own these dogs, and we don't ever really give them the fulfillment, the psychological fulfillment that they truly need. They're only thinking, well, my dog's doing this bad behavior because he doesn't know how to sit, or he doesn't know how to lay down, or he pulls on a leash. And while that may be the actual symptom itself, the issue goes much deeper. And so we want to cure it holistically across the board. We want to address all those issues. So that's what I get with a lot of people when they're struggling with, they're trying to decide whether they want to do dog training or not. It's a big investment. I'm not saying it isn't, but this dog, an investment over a 15-year lifespan, that's a lot of money, vet visits. But if a dog isn't well trained, do we have a nice, calm, peaceful 15 years, or do we have a dog that's crazy and on edge for that entire 15 years? It's not a real good quality of life. So we really drive that home. And then when the dog has basic manners, you learn to avoid things like, eating plastic bowls and then $3,000 surgeries later. Training can pale. A small investment will garner you long-term results as long as you're willing to put the time, effort into it. So that's what we really try to strive. When I get guys here and gals here, I'm like, guys, it's more than that. It's more than just sit down, play, stay. I need you to be boss doggies. And then that's what I get is everybody loves that at the end. They're like, oh, where's my boss doggy t-shirt? And that's something we're gonna come up with. New on our store, boss doggy, be the boss. But that's what your dog wants. That's what your dog wants. It's no different than your kids or other people. They want that relationship. So, yeah, that's what we try to get. Ain't that right, Zara? Yeah.